What's up everyone? I want to go ahead and load up a lot of information in this video. I'm going to take pretty much people to school because this is where I want to take all the 8 to 9 years of schooling that I did to become a chiropractor and sum it all up into this short clip here. And so this is where if you can take some notes or just listen up pretty closely, because we're going to breeze through this. I want to go through this pretty quick, but I want to give you some understanding of what we are looking for specifically as neurologically and structurally based chiropractors and identify and locating a subluxation of the spine. Again, subluxation is that misalignment of the joint leading to irritation to that nerve that can lead to all the aches and pains that we might be experiencing. So let's talk about this. So there's 5 components of a subluxation. The first one is going to be spinal kinesiopathology. Now, what in the world does that actually mean? So one, spinal means the joints or the bones in the spine, and then kinesiopathology means dysfunction within the movement of that joint. Now, when a subluxation occurs, those joints will misalign, and when it misaligns, it creates restriction of that joint where it doesn't move properly. And this is where, again, they say sitting to your spine is like sugar to your teeth, because the lack of movement just starts to wear out the joints in the body. Now, unfortunately, when you get restriction of a joint, that makes a compensatory or a compensation, a compensatory effect in the rest of the body. This is why when you have issues down below, it can create further issues in other parts of the body, because now it's overcompensating to make up for that lack of movement in that joint. So that's the first one, spinal kinesiopathology. The second one is neuropathophysiology. This is where, again, we talk about how the subluxation leads to irritation to that nerve, leading to a lot of the aches and pains, but also dysfunction within the body. Again, those nerves go to every single cell, tissue, and organ within the body. It goes to your heart, it goes to your lungs, it goes to your digestive system, but it goes all the way down to your toes and into your fingers. But it allows your body to function the way it's supposed to. So when there's irritation to that nerve, it can lead to dysfunction. And so this is why I'm not just concerned about how your body is feeling, but I am concerned about how your body is functioning overall. So again, that's neuropathophysiology. You can say that 5 times fast. Number 3 is myopathology. Myopathology. So myo means muscle, pathology is dysfunction. So this is where when you get restriction or a misalignment of that joint, your muscles are your body's first line of defense to try to create stability within a joint. So this is why you get muscles that become very tense and very tight, because they're trying to protect that spine, creating stability, and it's just a defense mechanism. Now, over a period of time, if that's not doing well or the joint's not corrected, oftentimes if there's irritation to that nerve, sometimes we can start to get what's called atrophy, or it's the weakening or the wasting of the muscle. So this is why we're looking for hypertonicity. This is where the joints or the muscles become very tense. And then we're looking for atrophy. This is where those muscles start to shut down, because that's also a sign of dysfunction. And so that's what we're looking for, is myopathology. The 4th component is histopathology. Now, histo is the tissue within the body, and then pathology again is dysfunction. And this is where when you damage a joint, you damage the ligament. So let's say when you roll your ankle, you sprain a joint, you're going to damage those tissues and the ligaments, and that's where you're going to get an inflammatory response, leading to a lot of the pain, a lot of the swelling, a lot of the irritation to that joint, is because the histopathology, the tissues have been damaged, creating a lot of stress in the joint. So again, even scar tissue can start to develop. That's an abnormal histological change. So that's what we're looking for here. Pathophysiology. Pathophysiology. So this is where, because your body has to compensate, because it's dealing with a lot of stress, this is where you get the bone spurs. Even histopathology, I forgot to mention, could be fallen into the category of a disc herniation, a disc bulge, stuff like that. But the pathophysiology talks a lot about like the bone spurs that develop. So I always liken it to, let's say we're standing and our feet are really close together. As our feet are really close together, let's say there's a huge earthquake that occurs. Now your body's unstable. So what's our natural response? It's, oh, I got to get a wider footstep. I got to get a wider stance. The same thing happens when there's so much instability within our body. Your body wants to compensate by growing bone and starts to develop bony spurs to try to create that stability. Eventually, sometimes what it will do, it will actually fuse together because it's trying to create that stability. So again, it's just one thing leading to another, and those are the 5 components components that start to come together to try to compensate, to try to restrict those joints, to try to do whatever it can. But this is what we're looking for as chiropractors, are those 5 components. It's the spinal kinesiopathology, it's the neuropathophysiology, the myopathology, the histopathology, and the pathophysiology. And we're putting it all in that nutshell when we're doing a consultation, when we're doing an exam. Each time you're coming into the office, we're scoping your spine each time, because I'm looking for that inflammation, that irritation, and damage to that nerve. So I hope that helped you guys. I know it's a lot and you don't have to remember any of this stuff, but I really thought it would be helpful for you guys to understand, Doc, what are you looking for? How do I even know if I have a subluxation? And the number one reason that you can tell is by, if you have those 5 components, you get checked out by a chiropractor, neurologically and structurally based chiropractor that's looking for those 5 components, so we can get to the root cause of your problem, get rid of it from the source, correcting it, getting pressure off of that nerve, so your body can not only feel better, but again, making it to function better as well.